What's good, everybody? It is Andre Dorsey here with DM Gaming. Time to kick off the DM Gaming show, y'all. Got it back up on YouTube today. So if you want to head over to the YouTube channel, hop in the live chat, and let's get this thing started, ladies and gentlemen. Just finished pulling up everything, so we good to go. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. All right. What's good, everybody? Thank you. DM Gaming here, man. What's going on? Muhammad already in the chat. What's going on? David just popped in. What's going on to y'all, man? If the stream is not pristine quality, y'all, it's just I got a lot of stuff running at the same time, and I do apologize about that, but I digress. Let's hop straight into it. It's the DM Gaming Show with your host, Andre Dorsey. Yes, y'all, so the Combine. I got to jump straight into it because I'm hyped to talk about this. The Combine is this weekend. It's coming up. I'm excited for it. But is it overrated? That's my question today about the NFL Scouting Combine. Is it overrated? They call it the underwear Olympics because guys walking around in compression and that's it, you know, and it's, to me, it's a glorified track meet is what it is, because I mean, the only thing that we see is the events. No one sees what goes on behind the doors. There's a lot of things that goes on at the Combine that the general public aren't aware of. They don't broadcast it because it's boring. It doesn't draw in ratings and things like that. It's not the stuff that we as the fans, first of all, are not going to say concerned with, but the viewers don't want to see it. We don't care to see it. We want to see 40 times bench press reps, vertical jumps, you know, drills and things of that nature. But y'all, let's be real. Us students of the game, I would like to see those interviews. I would like to see what goes on behind those doors. I like to see those test scores and things of that nature, because if I'm bringing a guy to a team that I love, I'm going to want to know more than just his athletic ability, because let's be real. All of those guys are there because of their athletic ability. You get what I'm saying? David says, I think the Combine is more beneficial for the lower unknown prospects. I will not disagree with that. However, in the same breath, it can be extremely detrimental to the top prospects. And that's why you see more and more, a lot of the top prospects do not perform at the Combine because they don't want to hurt their draft stock. And it's a joke if you ask me, because let's be real. If a guy's performing on the field, you know what he can do. But I guess what it is that you look at the level of competition that these guys go against and understand that it is college. So, you know, they may be walking off on somebody, but hey, the fastest player on that team may run a 4.5 40, and here this guy's running a 4.4 or 4.3. Of course, he's going to walk off on these guys. It's just a level of competition. It's just something to get a more streamlined about these players. But I'm going to be real with y'all. I don't think that the GMs and the owners and stuff pay so much attention about the draft as far as what these players are able to do. I mean, not the draft, I'm sorry, the Combine. Because let's be real, these guys come into the Combine, these owners and GMs and scouts and things like that, they already know these guys can play. A lot of them have watched these guys in person, so they know their speed. They know their strength level. They know what they can do on the field. Because let's be real, the physical aspect of the game, the speed, the strength, the drills, they can work on those things. What they want to get into in the Scouting Combine is inside the players' heads, what we don't see. You see what I'm saying? The nuts and bolts that goes on inside of these players' heads at the Combine. And I would like to see that too. You get what I'm saying? I would like to sit down and hear what these guys' goals and dreams are. I would like to see how they perform as far as football IQ, because, you know, let's be real. Cam Newton, for example, I don't think he fared too well as far as the IQ aspect of the game. From what I understand, a lot of things had to be simplified for him. However, with that being said, you know, Carolina, they said, we'll work with this guy. We'll take this kid and we'll mold him and shape him into something that is awesome. And yeah, they simplified it for him, but I think now it's not as simplified. It's a lot more complex and things of that nature. So much so, y'all, they even put it in Madden, in long shot. The guy even referenced Cam Newton as an example of this. And y'all, coaches do these types of things all the time, you know. It may be a small mark in the bad direction that say, oh, well, we had to simplify it for this player. But if you're worth it, you're worth it. You get what I'm saying? Tom Brady, perfect example of a guy who had a horrible combine if you look at numbers, like as far as the 40, the bench press, and things like that. However, in the throwing aspect, he did fairly well. But as a quarterback, it wasn't important for him to run a fast 40. It wasn't important for him to have a high vertical jump. And that brings me to another thing. Why put certain players through certain drills that aren't important? You get what I'm saying? Like, be real. I mean, a quarterback running a 40, yeah, it's important. Yeah, it's not. I guess you can see if the guy has scrambling ability and things of that nature. But it's, I don't know. It's just, in my opinion, some drills aren't necessary, but I digress. I mean, if you're playing defensive back like I did, you know, the bench press is important because you need to know, can this guy jam man to man? That is going to show his strength as far as jamming a player. But y'all, I'm going to be real with y'all. I was in college and I bench pressed more than this one guy, but he could jam a freight train. You get what I'm saying? I mean, this guy, everybody's played with somebody who was not strong in the weight room, didn't have the fastest 40, but when he got on the field, this guy had the strength of gods. And it seemed that whenever he got into open field, nobody could ever catch him. And it's just amazing to me how people are like that. I guess, you know, on the flip side of that, you have people like me who had good numbers, 40 time, good strength and stuff like that. But I couldn't translate that to the field. And y'all, let me be real with you. I don't know about other players, but I'm going to tell you what was my barrier. My barrier was my confidence. Yes. I wasn't confident. I would be so nervous that I could not use my strength, y'all, because it happened the same way in track. Whenever I ran track in high school and I had to come out of the blocks, guys, I was so nervous that I literally had no strength. My legs were just like spaghetti. And it happens. It happens. Guys get so nervous that their minds can't tap into the strength and power that they possess. And I think that's what happened to me on the football field and stuff like that. It happened to me every time I competed, probably except for powerlifting. You know, because I was so comfortable and confident in powerlifting. I wasn't confident in football. Just be real with you. I was so nervous, you know, and it would show. Now, once I got comfortable, yeah, that would change. You know, once and later I did develop confidence and things of that nature. But prior to it, my God, you know, and that's what I want to know about some of these players. You know, what is their confidence level? How are they really inside of the mind? You know, what goes on at the combine that we don't see? Because they do measurements and everything. I mean, it's down to an art. They have it down to a science that if this guy weighs X amount of pounds, he moves this fast, that equates to X amount of power or potential power. Because let's be real, when you're on the field and nerves kick in, or your mind has to concern itself with learning a play or running a certain play, then that takes away from that potential power percentage, you know. And I don't know how these NFL teams calculate the power of a player. I imagine each one has different ways of doing it, but power is the thing that you need, because we used to even do it when I was in middle school and high school. We, you know, they would take our marks, they would take down our maxes as far as in the weight room, and they would also take our 40 times vertical jump. They would take all of those numbers and they would compile them into a sum, and that was your level, I guess, in a sense. And that was this guy that I always competed with, man. I mean, I wanted to be number one. I wasn't even number one on the list. I think I was in the top 5, but I definitely wasn't number one. Now, mind you, I wasn't the strongest, and I like this because you don't have to be the strongest or the fastest to get into the top ranking. It goes off of your height, your weight, what you're lifting, what you're running. And for me, my strength was, for my size, my strength was above average. I was above average. I won second place at the Texas High School State Powerlifting meet back in 2006. You know, I was in the 165s, but I also qualified for regionals in the 181s. You know, it's a funny story. I'll tell y'all real quick. Funny story. So we were on our way to White Oak, and Some of y'all probably don't know where that's at, but if you're in Texas, you probably know where White Oak is, Northeast Texas. Anyway, we're on our way to that powerlifting meet. And y'all, I kid you not, we get pulled over by the policeman, and our coach, who was the only adult with us, driving us, he got pulled over. No, there had to have been another adult with us. Okay, anyway, we get pulled over, right? And our coach, yeah, no, I'll take it back. He was the only adult with us. Yes, he was. Okay, so listen, our coach gets pulled over. We get pulled over by the police. And I don't know if we were speeding or what the case may be, but it turns out they had to arrest our coach. Yes, I'm going to tell y'all why later. But anyway, we had to arrest our coach. And I guess he worked something out with the officer to get us to the powerlifting meet. Yes, he still, despite everything that was going on, instead of having us taken back home, had us taken to the powerlifting meet. And so the police agreed, and we pulled into I think it was a restaurant. I think it was a Wendy's or something like that. And one of the coaches from Dangerfield, which was nearby, came by and picked us up and carried us onto the powerlifting meet at White Oak. Now, get this. Once we was there, once you get to the powerlifting meet, you have to weigh in, okay? And I'm telling you, I went to weigh in. I was supposed to be 165. I cannot be over 165.5 pounds. What's going on, yo boy? DCK. Lonnie, what's up, man? But anyway, y'all, I couldn't be over 165.5. I was 165.7. So I'm going to tell y'all the equivalent. Literally, all I had to do, in which a lot of people do this, is literally take off all their clothes to where they have on nothing but compression shorts. Yeah, I did that, and I was 165.7. So the next step, what's up, Antonio? The next step was to take a leak or a dump, you know, get rid of that extra something. And they allow you to do these things. But I was like, you know what? I'm not finna do that. I don't feel like doing all that. That's too much. I said, I'm gonna just lift in the 180. They said, what would happen? Well, you have to lift in the next class, which is the 181s. And so I did that, y'all. I went to lift in the 181s, and I was crossing my fingers, hoping to God that my coach would not get mad at me. Well, guess what? This was I think this was the last powerlifting meet before, okay, this was the meet that would qualify us for regionals. And the way that qualification worked is they would take your best lifts from throughout the entire powerlifting season, and that would qualify you or disqualify you. So from regionals, okay, so I go ahead and I start lifting with the 181s, and mind you, our coach is still not here. So I did a pretty good job. I got a personal PR, a new PR, which is this is the highest I've gotten so far on deadlift that day. I actually placed second in the powerlifting meet in the 181s that day. Yes, I placed second. I beat out my other teammate who was in the 181s. Not only that, but guys, I qualified for regionals that day in the 181s. And this was like the last track meet before the last powerlifting meet before regionals, man. This is crazy. So I qualified for regionals in 181s. And then our coach finally comes back, you know, before the end of the meet. Turns out, y'all, he got arrested for hot checks, but it wasn't him. Turns out somebody had stolen his checkbook and was writing hot checks, and there was a warrant out for his arrest because, of course, the checks are in his name. So that was crazy, but I was scared, and I told him what happened. I was like, Coach, don't be mad at me, blase, blase. You know, I lifted with the 181s today, and he was like, so how did it turn out? I said, well, I got second place, and I qualified for regionals, and he was ecstatic. I mean, this guy was awesome, y'all. This guy was really awesome, this coach that we had, but he was ecstatic. I was ecstatic. I qualified for the 181s. And end up going to regionals. So I had a decision to make. I could go to regionals and lift with the 181s, or I could go to regionals and lift in the 165s because I qualified for both. And so we sat down and we talked about it, and the best route for me was to go with the 165s. Now, y'all, the story gets better. I had another classmate, or he was a grade below me. I had a teammate who was in the 165s as well, but he always finished ahead of me because of his bench press. His bench press was better than mine, and it always got me. And I was terrified of squats. I was scared of bottoming out. But anyway, so we got to regionals, or we was getting to regionals. Appreciate that, Lonnie. I like that new logo too, man. We were, it was the day before regionals, y'all. And my teammate, now let me tell you, the guy who beat me, well, okay, let me get to that. regionals. Okay. My teammate who was stronger than me, who had we both went, would have been fighting for first and second, or me fighting for potentially third. Yeah, it was tough. I was trying to go state. Only the top 2 people in regionals went to state. So turns out the guy had blue balls, y'all. Or that's what he told our coach anyway. He called the day before the regional meet, told the coach he wasn't going because he had blue balls. My coach was pissed. Excuse my language. He was. I don't know if he really did or not. He said that he did it so that I could go and win. But nah, man, this guy, he had all the talent in the world and was I don't know what was going on with him. But he said that's why he didn't go, but that's so dumb anyway. So it turns out, y'all, we get to the regional meet, and I'm there, and there's this guy from another school, Mount Vernon, and he walks up to us because he knows we're New Boston. He asks us, he said, hey, where's such and such? You know, where's the guy at? I was like, he didn't come. This dude literally in our face was like, yes, I got first. He literally in our face told me he was going to get first. Y'all, I'm telling you, I was like, look, I told myself, okay, that's how it's going to be. Okay, I see. So I'm nothing. He basically ain't even concerned with me. He concerned about my teammate, man. So y'all, let me tell you, there is a picture. I don't know if it's on my Facebook page. I'm going to try to find it and post it to Instagram, or I'm going to post it to Twitter. And in this picture, y'all, I'm clearing that because I was, y'all, my lift was deadlift. I would dominate deadlift. What I opened with on deadlift, a lot of guys, that was their max. So by the time I opened, I would already gain so much position. Okay, so had a good meet, decent meet, got down to deadlift, y'all, and it was lit, man. I'm telling you. Long story short, coach came to me. He said, look, Doris. He said, all right, Doris, look at this. He called me Doris. He didn't say Dorsey. He called me Doris. He called me Dorsey sometime. But anyway, hey, Doris, look at this. He said, you can either lift, I think it was 510. He said, you can either lift, no, it wasn't 510. It was like 515 or so. Anyway, he told me I can lift, so let's just go with 510. He said, you can either lift, 480 and, get third, or you could push yourself, go for 510 and, or 515, and you can, take second place. Basically, first place was out of the question. There wasn't no weight that I could pull to get me first. And so I was like, man, let's go for it, and I went for it, y'all, and I kid you not, I pulled it, I cleared it, and there is a picture on Facebook. I'm going to share it to Twitter later on. I'm going to pull it up and share it so y'all can see it. The guy who asked about my teammate, who didn't even acknowledge me, is in the background of that picture with the look on his face that literally says, oh crap, I just lost. Yes, I'm going to share that picture on Twitter today, y'all. Blue balls, Antonio. Okay, so blue balls is basically when it's pretty explicit. Blue balls is when a guy doesn't ejaculate when performing intercourse, and I guess the pressure from not doing that builds up, and it causes pain and discomfort in his testicles. If I'm explaining that right, pretty explicit stuff. I'm trying to explain it with the PG-13 rating there, buddy. But yeah, that's what blue balls is. It's if a guy doesn't ejaculate, if he's aroused to the point of ejaculation and he doesn't ejaculate, it's basically pressure, because if he ends up ejaculating, then that pressure relieves over a short period of time, and yeah. But anyway, back to the story. So in this picture, y'all, this guy's in the background, and he's sitting there and he's looking up with this face like, I just lost. So he did. He got third. I got second. And I qualified for state in the 165s. Now, I went to state, y'all, and it was an awesome experience. We were in Houston. And long story short, I was faced with the same situation. Deadlift. I think I ended up pulling 550 at state. I can't remember. I have to go to the website and look it up. I don't remember what I pulled. It was 550 or something like that. At regionals, it was 530, and I think I pulled 550 at state. But it was the same thing. I was at this crossword where, hey, you could pull this and get third, or you could pull this and go for second, or something like that. Or maybe I was even in fourth. But I pulled over. It was either 550 or more. 550, cleared it, got second place. Now get this, the guy that beat me at regionals, I beat him at state. And he was crying, man. He was distraught. Now the guy that beat me, I wasn't gonna catch him. I think he ended up pulling 600. It was this guy that was in the 148th pulling 600. Now, I don't even know where I was going with that story, man. I guess to say that I wasn't nervous in powerlifting, you know, I loved it. I even got not an internship. I could have went to Louisiana Tech for powerlifting, but it's not a collegiate sport. NCAA needs to make that a collegiate sport, man. Powerlifting is awesome. It was awesome, but that was like the only sport I'd never had nervous feelings for. I was just like, let's go, let's get it. I love weightlifting. So, and y'all can see the videos on Instagram, your boy pushing up 315 on bench and all that. And y'all, I'm not a big guy. I don't weigh much. I think the most I've ever gotten up to was, well, I did get up to like 190 one time. I think when I was in Houston, and another time when I was back down here. But in that video where I'm pressing 315, I think I was weighing about 175 in that video. So yeah. But anyway, the nerves weren't there. So, and I'm sorry I got off topic, y'all, but it's an awesome story, man. It is. And how it all got started, y'all, I played basketball. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm like the only black person that sucks at basketball. You know what I'm saying? I can shoot a free throw and I can play defense, but I am not coordinated enough to dribble and crossover and all that. I'm not. I'm sorry. But y'all, this was so much fun because all through high school, I played basketball. And a senior couldn't be on junior varsity. The seniors had to be on varsity. I would have been the senior that would have been on JV if it was possible. You get what I'm saying? And it's amazing how things work out, y'all, because when I was, it was my senior year, of course. Now, mind you, all through high school, this coach, who was the powerlifting coach and one of the most influential coaches in my life, kept telling me, Doris, you suck at basketball. Come do powerlifting. Like, he would literally tell me that I suck at basketball and I need to come do powerlifting, y'all. And I like, no, man, I like basketball. I like basketball. I like basketball. And so my senior year, y'all, I overslept. We had a tournament on a Saturday. And for some, y'all, I don't know how this happened, but I overslept. And I woke up and I thought I was dreaming because I was like, wait, I overslept. I was like, no, this has to be a dream. No, I missed the bus. I overslept. And our basketball coach, who was another influential coach in my life, he was very upset. But he's the type of guy, when he gets upset, he gets quiet. And when he gets quiet, you're in trouble. And so I get to school on Monday, and I already know I'm going to have to run. I'm going to have to run like crazy to make up for this, and I did. He told me that week that I wasn't playing I think it was on a Friday we had a game. He told me I wasn't going to play because I missed the tournament, and that was fine. But he's also one of those guys that'll tell you, like, he tests you. And the stream quality may be bad, y'all, and I apologize. So if you're listening to this on Spreaker, it's not, but on YouTube, the quality may be bad, but I digress. He's one of those guys where he'll test you. He'll say that you're not playing just so he can see how you're going to practice, basically how you're going to respond to that adversity. And so I practiced and everything just like I was going to play. And here comes game day. And on game day, y'all, we have to dress up. We have to wear a shirt and tie or whatever. But my stupid self went all out. And I wore a tie. I wore a suit. I wore a suit that day. And he saw me. I passed by this coach several times during the day. He saw me dressed in a suit, man. I go into the locker room after school, look on the bench, and my stuff is laid out. Y'all, my jersey, my shoes, my bag, it's all laid out because we had an away game. So I'm like, okay, it was a test, and I passed. I get to play. So he passed by me in the locker room, putting my stuff in my bag. Some of it, anyway. I didn't put all of it. He passed by me. He saw me. He said nothing, y'all. I kid y'all not. I walked out the locker room, did some stuff, came back. Everybody else was in the locker room putting up their stuff. So I started finishing putting my stuff in my bag. Guess what happened next? My coach looks at me in front of everybody and says, Dorsey, what you doing? I was like, I'm packing my stuff. I'm putting my stuff in my bag. And he says, no, you're not. I told you you weren't going. You ain't playing. See, I thought I was at least going to get to go, you know, because had I not showed up at all, it would have been bad. So I still dressed up. I still came, packed my stuff because I thought I was going to at least get to go and ride the bench. No. And it made me so mad, y'all. I walked out and I had to go to my car. I had to go home because he told me I wasn't going. And so I'm walking to my car and the girls' bus passes by and they all see me in my suit, fly as a whistle, walking to my car. And they yelling out the window, Andre, what happened? What happened? What happened? And I'm so mad. I'm not talking to nobody. I just got my head down. I'm embarrassed. I'm mad. I'm upset. I just felt like crying, man, because I was that upset at this coach, man. And that lasted for some years, but I finally let it go and we cool with each other now. But man, I was upset. Because he saw me all day, didn't say nothing. He saw me packing my things in the gym by myself, didn't say nothing. And you wait till the team is around to say that. I was mad, y'all. So I ended up quitting basketball, and that's how I got into powerlifting. My very first year getting into powerlifting, and that's how I ended up going to state. And so I say that to say stuff may seem bad at first. Certain situations may not seem so awesome. But guys, think about this. If I never went through what I went through that week in basketball, I never would have went to basketball. I never would have went to powerlifting. And I never would have got second place at state. Now I know it's not first place, but it's second place in the state of Texas. And y'all, when I looked at my numbers compared to the other states in my weight class, I was pushing more weight than some adults. Yes, I could have went and made the United States powerlifting team and lifted, and not only lifted, but competed and qualified. I was that good. My numbers were that good for my weight class. And like I said, Louisiana Tech, which is a Division I college in Ruston, they were even at the powerlifting meet and they were trying to recruit me. I was going to go to Louisiana Tech for powerlifting, but it's not a collegiate sport. It's an intramural. So I only get in-state tuition. But that's all I was getting at Southern Arkansas. But y'all wanted to play football. And I'm going to tell y'all something, especially for y'all cats that's still in school, which I'm pretty sure if you're in school, you're not listening to this, but you might be listening to it later on out of school. Do not slack with your college preparation. Because y'all, I was lazy. I didn't really understand how to do the FAFSA and all of that. And I procrastinated and I ended up missing out on a huge opportunity because like I said, I was going to Southern Arkansas. I didn't have a football scholarship. I was a walk-on, but I made the team. And in powerlifting at Louisiana Tech, it was going to cost the same amount of money to go to Louisiana Tech as it was to go to Southern Arkansas, where I went to college. And what's crazy is, y'all, I missed out because I could have went to Louisiana Tech and walked onto their football team and did powerlifting because the coach told me I could have done that. And I missed out on opportunity because I was complacent. I was lackadaisical. And I procrastinated. So do not. And it was all with the FAFSA. Get that stuff done as soon as possible. Take your ACT. My SAT scores was good. I could have got in with my SAT scores. I just didn't have my FAFSA in on time. And so y'all don't lax doing that stuff. But I say all of that story to say, man, it don't matter what you come through in life. It don't matter the ups and the downs, man. Sometimes a bad thing may happen that seems like a bad thing, but in actuality, it is something that is forcing one door closed so that another one can open up. Because if that never happened to me in basketball, y'all, that experience in powerlifting never would have happened to me. There's not a lot of people who's gone through high school can say that they went to state in anything, nevertheless placing second place at state, you know. That is an awesome feeling, man. And in an event like powerlifting, you by yourself. It's a team sport because you do get a team grade. As a team, we got first place, we got gold a lot, but then you also get those individual awards. It's just like track, track at the track meets, each individual player gets a certain a medal, but the team as a whole also gets a place as well. And it was the same way in powerlifting. So yeah, it wasn't a good feeling at all, but it turned into something awesome. Something very awesome, y'all. And I had to look for a second, y'all, because it wasn't Spreaker wasn't showing up. And I hope this isn't lagging. I think it is lagging. If it is, y'all, apologize for the quality. We will work that out. But y'all, I mean, and so I understand, you know, playing sports, you get nervous and you can't tap into that full strength, that full ability that you could normally tap into when you have all the confidence in the world. And, you know, that's the stuff that I want to see. Y'all literally spent like 20 minutes talking and explaining something, but I like that. Y'all know how we do here at DM Gaming, man. We live, we fresh, it's unedited, it's just straight raw to you. If we go off on something else, it's all for a reason. That story hopefully can help somebody, because it definitely helped me, you know. But I ended up walking on to play football at Southern Arkansas, played cornerback. And it was one of those horrible experiences, man. Again, starting out, man, I was bad, because where I came from in football, y'all, the teams didn't pass the ball. Everybody that we played pretty much ran the ball except for maybe one team. And we also played Tatum, you know, once, but they passed, you know, it. So our defense was designed and we trained to stop the run. And so when I got to college, going against receivers who were legit receivers, it was embarrassing. And I don't know how I still made the team. I don't know how they didn't kick me off the team, but they didn't give up on me, and it paid off, because later on, you know, I was on par with everybody else. But those first couple of years, man, I questioned, what am I doing? I did. I questioned it. What am I doing here? Why am I playing football? You know, but I loved it. I just could not get enough of it. I loved it to this day still. So, you know, it is what it is. That's just about the combine, man. So you have some guys out there that are going to this combine, like David said earlier, the small guys get a chance to get that limelight, you know. They have a chance to get noticed. And let me tell y'all something about getting noticed, because I do YouTube, and I know some of y'all do YouTube too. YouTube is similar to the combine, you know, and similar to life in general, is with exposure and opportunity. Because look at this, man. I mean, even though I didn't go to Louisiana Tech, I could have. I had the opportunity to, because of the position that I was in. If I never overslept, I never would have. I don't think I would be where I'm at today. I don't. Just that one instance can change your entire life. And it's all about exposure, you know, because I do videos, and you hear people talk all the time. Well, man, this video, you're not good enough to content this or content that. Your content has to be good. If your content's good, people will watch, people will subscribe. But y'all, YouTube, we all know I think YouTube has more to do, and life in general has more to do with exposure and opportunity than it does with quality and content. I think those things come second, or rather third, to exposure and opportunity. Exposure and opportunity can kind of go hand in hand, you know, because there's YouTubers on the platform that's got so many subscribers, and people come to them. They don't even really look at anybody else at that point. You know, they're like, well, I'm sticking with this guy, you know. And what ends up happening is you have somebody else that comes along who's just as good or probably even better, but they don't have all the subscribers. They don't have all the video views. And it's not because they're not good. It's not because their content isn't great. It's simply exposure. And the way that YouTube works is the videos that get the most exposure are the videos that get views. Yes, the more views you get, the more exposure you're going to get. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know why people, I hate when people say that. I hate when people talk like, oh, if your content is good, people will subscribe. Yeah, but they have to find you first. You see what I'm saying? And I just can't understand it, man. I can't understand it. That why people do that. And so if you're new to YouTube, y'all, or new to anything in life, you know, find the opportunity. Sometimes you have to create opportunities. That's why y'all may see me on Twitter retweeting and sharing stuff that I've shared 100 times, you know, because here's the thing. Somebody just may not have seen it, you know, and you never know when that one person will get a hold of that at the right time, and it can make amazing opportunities for you, you know. I've tweeted Rex on Twitter a lot of times, man, and he's replied to some, he's liked some, whatever. But the other day, and y'all can look on my Twitter and see this, I asked him about an interview. And he said, I said, how many retweets do I need to get an exclusive interview? And he said, none, just ask. And so I asked, but he didn't reply. He hadn't replied yet. And I don't want to keep blowing him up. So every now and then I'll ask him again, hey, Rex, what about that interview? Y'all know what that would do for us. That would give us a lot of exposure, because I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I'm doing it. Yes, I want to interview him because I think that would be super awesome and super cool on a game that the channel is built on, to be able to interview the creative director for that game. That's an opportunity of a lifetime. Now, I also want to do it because I know it's going to help us to grow. It's going to open a lot of doors for us. People are going to say, hey, this Rex Dixon interview, you know, let's check out DM Gaming, man. That guy's got it going on over there. And they come in and they see the community that we have and things like that. I mean, it just opens up opportunities. I was doing this podcast, y'all, and I've had a radio opportunity open up for me. I mean, you never know what you're doing. You never know who's watching. So whatever you do, do it to the best of your ability and don't give up, because you never know. And this is coming from a guy who hasn't made it. I haven't made it yet. So you can trust me and listen to what I'm saying, because it's easy for somebody who's made it to say, oh, this is what you need to do. You see what I'm saying? But y'all see the numbers. Y'all see the channel growing. Y'all see the social media growing. Y'all see the presence growing. So y'all are seeing it in its process. Y'all seeing the worm becoming the cocoon. We haven't reached the butterfly yet. Y'all are seeing the process. But can you trust somebody who you didn't get to see the process? Like I said, it's easy for somebody who's already famous to turn around and say, hey, don't give up. Or hey, keep doing this or keep doing that. Not saying that they didn't go through anything or anything like that, but you really don't know how they got to be where they at unless they tell you. But when you get to see the process at work, it's a beautiful thing. It's a very beautiful thing. So like I said, with these guys that are even, you know, in the combine this weekend, and you younger guys who may be in college or in high school playing football and want to make it there one day, don't give up. Because also, the combine is not the only way to get onto an NFL roster. Some guys have made the NFL roster from open tryouts. Some guys have had to go alternate routes through the Canadian League and then to the NFL. And some guys don't even get invited to the combine. They just have a pro day, and the scouts find a diamond in the rough. Let me tell y'all something. This is going to be the last thing that we talk about because I'm running out of time. There's a growing trend in the nation right now that colleges they've gone from looking at high school recruits to middle school. Guys, they are even looking at Little League and Pee Wee kids. There's a kid, it's on YouTube, videos on YouTube. I'll share it one day. That this kid is like, I think he's 7 or 8 years old, and he's already basically had a verbal offer from a Division I college. It's a business. And they're going for these younger kids. That's why I told my son, we need to train. You got to train, man. Because these colleges, they already looking at you before you get to middle school. They looking at these kids. So if you're like, I'm going to wait to high school to turn it on, don't do that to yourself. You turn it on now. If you're not in the 7th grade and you listening to this video or this podcast, turn it on now. If you're a parent of a child and your child loves football, do not let them miss out on opportunity. Because y'all, I used to be like that with my son. I told my wife, you know, well, if he want to work out, he'll come and ask me. But y'all, when I was a kid, because that's how I was when I was a kid. I wanted to do it. I just wasn't allowed to because I was so small. My mom wouldn't let me live with my cousins now because they was bigger than me. But I'm going to tell y'all something. Everybody's not like that. And I don't want my son to miss out on the opportunity because he already knows. I've told him, y'all, he's going to have to work out. I told him you can't sit around the house and expect to be good. He knows what he needs to do. He's just not doing it. So dad's going to have to intervene and push him to do it, because one day he's going to look back and say thank you. I would hope anyway. I would hope one day. And Lonnie, I see what you're saying, that you can't wait for your YouTube career, man. And here's the thing. Here's a special thing, man. You could do one video, Lonnie, and it could blow up bigger than anything I've ever done, and you can even surpass me. The guy that got you started in YouTube, in a sense, you've watched plenty of other people, but you've been subscribed to the channel for a while, and you started after me. You could grow faster than I could. And see, it's all about opportunity. It's all about chance. It's all about exposure and taking advantage of a situation. Because here's the thing, and I'll leave y'all with this. Every YouTuber who's big time right now started with just 1 subscriber. Every guy that you watch play football on Sunday, guess what? They started with they started with one step. They put the pants on the same way you do. It all started with one snap. Basketball started with one dribble, one shot. Everybody starts. Now, the way that you get to the court, the way that you get to the field, the way that you get to the YouTube or whatever, the stage, if you want to act, the recording studio, if you want to sing, everybody gets to those points. Now, how you get there may be different, but at some point in time, everybody takes that one step, that exact same step, onto the performance stage. Everybody's story outside of those doors are different. How they got there may be different, but everybody takes the exact same step onto that football field, exact same step onto the court, exact same step into the YouTube. And whatever else you want to apply that to in life, it's all the same. How you get there may be different, but that step that you take through that door, it's all the same. But the difference comes in how bad you want it, how hard you're willing to work. But most of all, that's what they tell you is most important. That's not the most important. The most important is how you're able to handle the situations that are going to come to you during your journey. It's that mindset. Because remember what I told you, what happened to me in basketball? If I'd had a different mindset, if I hadn't quit, because I quit basketball. After that, I said, you know what? I'm going to go try powerlifting. I'm going to give this a chance. If I had a different mindset, situation could have been a lot different. I would have been stuck in basketball riding the bench. And I thought about that. That made me think a lot. I didn't stay mad. I sat down and I thought about it. Is this the route that I want to go? I knew I wanted to go play college football, so I was like, well, I'll just get ready for track and lift weights and get strong for football. But I ended up doing powerlifting. Went to state. Awesome opportunity. Y'all, that's all I got for right now. It has been an awesome podcast. I appreciate everybody for stopping in and tuning in. Luis, what's going on, man? It all starts with one. It only takes one step, y'all. Remember that. It only takes one step. It's going to be hard. It's going to be times where videos may not get views or you may not have a good practice or a good game, but do not give up, man. Because even if you don't make it to the big time, there's going to be an opportunity that comes that you're prepared for because you know how to work hard. Till next time, y'all. Thanks for watching and God bless.